Welcome everybody to Zedtopia. Today is going to be a little extra nerdy and involves some charts and graphs that you'll appreciate, and it's all based upon teaching my friend how to play Zed. Now we're going to keep him anonymous for this video, but let's just say that when I say hard stuck, I mean 600 games hard stuck. The way I reviewed this was looking through his lolchess. Some of these non-Zed games were him simply selling his whole board, so I wasn't sure what his comp was. He completed this in about a 10-day time span. He started playing before the buff and then continued playing after the nerf. And since this is 2020, we don't need to go to class and get a book. We just learn on YouTube with a fake book. And the first page when you open that fake book says, to like and subscribe this video. What else do you think it was going to be? As you can see here, I went ahead and broke down all of his games and where he placed. Again, this is based on his lolchess. I simply went into his history and looked through his games. I found the first one where he started playing Zed consistently, because he did try it out a few times beforehand, and then once he got the hang of it, he just dove right in, like Michael Phelps, eating a Subway sandwich. And since everybody hates math, I will go ahead and do it for you, because I'm a nice guy. If we average 35 minutes a game times 62 games, we come out with about 36 hours. Now I'm sure a few of you are just like, dude, that's 1.5 days. I can do that, no problem. This guy took 10, what a noob. But most of us are like, wow, 3.5 hours a day, kind of a lot. But you know what they say, practice makes perfect. And he also went from just outside the top 1% at around rank 18,000 to inside the top 0.02%. That's top 400, boys. Now, I don't know many other things that you can compete in that you can gain 18,000 rank in 10 days. Or maybe I'm just a really good coach. I guess Zed is kind of good too. I just want to mention that even though he went from Diamond 3 to Masters, other people can take the same ideas with Zed and go from Silver to Gold or even Platinum or Diamond. I mean, he climbed 700 LP in 10 days. I think one of the other points is that when you one-trick a comp, it's not that you play the same game every time, it's you try to achieve the same goal. Every game is going to be different, and it's just a matter of how you get to that end game. So as you can see, it's not like he just went straight up. He still had a few times where he went back down a little bit, but consistency is the key. And one of those factors is the items that you get. Now obviously you can't guarantee certain items, but step one in playing the Zed comp is that you get bow on first carousel. It just makes your life so much easier. I mean, take a look at these items. Ideally, if you can get rapid fire cannon with hurricane and rage blade, that's 4 bows. Now, of course, sometimes you'll end up getting one full item off carousel later, but at the very minimum, you always need at least 2 bows. As I mentioned earlier, RFC is crucial to winning with Zed. You need him to just stand in one spot and attack over and over, like a mindless zombie, just eating brains with really long arms. And so you see, that's why he had a lot of success, is because 50 out of the 54 games he actually got it. The importance of the QSS has recently been up for discussion. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but if you've heard of Asian Gamer 5, his rule of thumb is only use a QSS if you have 2 Zeeks. Otherwise, you're going to need the attack speed that the Runons and the Rage Blade give you. I would say, adding to that if you're not really 100% sure on your positioning, a QSS will be more forgiving and help save you rounds that you misposition. If you accidentally jumped Zed into a double Luden's Nami, you might want to be a gangster and put that hood on. I've had a lot of questions from either YouTube comments or Reddit comments, or even while I'm coaching someone, about how important it really is to get Zed 3-starred. Now, while he looks cool and all, it's not as important as you might think. As you can see here, 41% of the time he only had a 2-star Zed. I think coming to this realization will help people understand that they don't have to spend all their money rolling down to find Zed 3-star. The general rule of thumb is that if you have 5 to 6 Zeds, you can still stay on 7 and roll, because once you hit 8, your odds go down by 10%. But it's really just a matter of knowing how to balance your econ with how many hit points you have left. For instance, if you have 50 gold and a lot of hit points, you can sit and just roll your interest. At the same time, however, you could still just rush 8 if you're on a winning streak and throw in that extra unit. So as you can see, it's very situational, and that's why I said earlier practice makes perfect. Speaking of going 8, Azir, Zillion, and Kayn are the 3 chosen you typically look for to add to your comp. As you can see, it's harder to find them at 7, obviously because of the rolling odds, but they also don't 100% fit into the comp yet because you already have your solid 7, Zed, Shen, Kennen, Akali, Pyke, Elise, and Eve. On the other hand, they are legendary units, so you do want to fit them in if you can. And typically Elise comes out for Azir because you still maintain Keeper. Elise also usually comes out for Zillion because it's a weaker unit. But if you have a Chosen Zed, you can also take out Eve because Chosen Zed already has 2 Shade. And that lets you maintain Keeper with Elise. I'm not really sure why he played a lot of Kayn at level 7 because that's the weaker of the 3. I'm just going to assume he got lucky. The last thing I want to go over is the Chosen he ended up taking throughout his games. If you take a look at the percentage of Shade and the percentage of Keeper, it looks eerily similar to the percentage of Z3 and Z2. There's a reason for that, and it's because finding a chosen Zed gives you 3 free units. So you're already 1/3 of the way to Z3. So the myth of needing Shade Zed and also needing Z3 kind of go hand in hand. It ends up just being easier to find because you spend more time in a lower level. Keeper Kennen is a 3-star unit, so your chances of finding that are going to be lower. Sadly, he only found Adept Shen once, and a few of these other ones are just random cultist or warlord. And sometimes he actually just sold his units, so I don't even know what he chose. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm trying to put together some new ideas on different ways we could look at the different traits, and specifically Zed in this case. Let me know what you thought about it down in the comments, if it was amazing or if it was just hot garbage. At this point, I'm actually going to list all of his games so you can take a look and see what he played when he won, what he played when he lost. You could even compare the different builds he made between Diamond 3 and Master. I figure there's not a whole lot of people like me that like to look at this stuff, but I also wanted to prove I didn't just make these numbers up, they actually came from a place. So, enjoy.